All right, hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evan, and I am going to be walking through how to install and run a mainnet node for Stacks within AWS. Essentially, it'll be a mix between working in the AWS environment and going between documentation here on blockstack.org and also running Docker. So within the first steps of installing a node to help validate the Stacks ecosystem, I'm going to need to install some software, but first and foremost, I need to make sure I have the proper hardware going on. So we do have some base recommendations to work with. In this case, I'm going to jump over to my AWS console. And for everyone starting from scratch here, what you'll need to do is set up AWS account, probably tie in your credit card information. What I'm working with already is within a VPC I've already created, so you may need to look into that if you get there. Regardless, first thing I'm going to do is spin up an instance. I'm going to launch an instance here, and what I'm going to select is an Ubuntu server. Let's keep it at x86. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go off the recommended sizing, 2 vCPUs, 8 gig memory. So let's find that. They also gave us the recommended size, so T3.large. Let's find that. Perfect. T3 large. We want to configure our instant details. So we're talking about a network. Like I said, I've already created some networks, so I'm going to select my test VPC. I have a dedicated public network as well, and I believe let's do public 2. I want to enable a public IP address. That way, so other nodes and validators can find it on the public internet and it's not hiding behind anything. As far as any of these other configurations, some of these are specific to AWS. If you're an AWS guru, feel free to configure these as you see fit. Is more of our first time using AWS. We can ignore these for this instance. In some cases, I want to enable CloudWatch if I want to understand my network CPU. And for the purposes of this demo, we just want to get something up and running and have you on a mainnet node. User data, we'll skip this as well, but essentially if there's startup tasks for the box, such as yum update or sudo apt-get, something of the like, we're going to run these manually on the box once we get there. So this all looks good. Just want to make sure you have a public IP enabled, make sure it's within a VPC and a public subnet. Next, as far as add storage, this is when we're going to jump back to our documentation. 50 gigabit disk, preferably SSD. So we already have a general purpose SSD and we want 50 to 80. So in this case, I'm just going to type in 50 here. Next, add tags. We don't need anything. As far as security group, we definitely want to enable SSH. And within Stacks, there are certain ports. I haven't verified if we actually need these open, but I'm going to open them just in case. Let's jump down real quick. Let's find the port. So 2443 and 2444. So let's go ahead and just have these 2443 to 2444. Custom, let's bring it in from anywhere. This is a custom TCP rule coming in from anywhere, and that looks good to me. Your instance configuration is not eligible for free tier. Yes. Prove your instance's security. That's fine. Instance details, storage. Okay, from my standpoint, let's look good. So let's go ahead and launch this. One of the things, choose an existing key pair. Let's go ahead and create a new key pair. We'll call this Stacks Test. Download key pair. And we'll save this guy. Go ahead and launch this instance. Okay, it says launches. I'll prepare my key pair. let's go ahead and bring my terminal over. Clear this screen. Okay, we'll just do documents. Let me just bring this over real quick. Give me 1 second. So with AWS, every time you connect to an instance, they do require the key pair, so you can't configure a password for this one. And that's all I'm doing right now is just moving over my key to the pair. So let's go ahead and copy this. Go ahead and let's just change directories. All right, there we have it, our stacks.pem. So the first thing we're going to want to do is chmod 400. This reason being, Amazon won't let you SSH with an unvalidated or the incorrect permissions on your private key. Not entirely important, but if you try and use this to SSH instantly, you will fail. So let's go back to our instance. Let's view our instances. So we were killing some time there as far as letting this boot up. We can see initialization. And we have our public IP. So let this kind of spin up for another moment longer. But what I'm going to do here is grab my public IP. Okay, clear our screen here. We'll SSH-I stacks-no. I forget the key name already. Let's go ahead and check that. Stacks-test.pem. Okay. So we'll SSH-I stacks-test.pem. And let's do Ubuntu at, let's do our IP address. Let's hit yes. Permission denied, public key. Stack, oh, that's why. Forgot the underscore. Great, so I'm on the box right now. You can see Ubuntu. So next thing's next. Now we're actually going to go and set up the software components. So right now we have the hardware. We're connected onto our hardware, and we're just going to go ahead, copy and paste these commands. Yes. Okay, we'll let that. What is we're doing here? Looks like we're installing Rust. Paste that guy in there. We'll let that run. Okay. Make cargo commands available. So we're putting cargo within our environment path. That sounds fine. Okay, so here are our initial requirements. We completed those. Installing node from... Installing node from source. Okay, so we're going to go through steps. Let's do installing node from stores. How about that? To configure. Okay, we already told that. So done. Let's clear our screen. Let's copy some of these over. Okay, let that run. Install the stacks node. Okay. What are the difference? Install the Stacks nodes by running to install this Stacks node. Yeah, sure. Let's get extra debugging on there. Give this a moment. No such file or directory. You know, I ran this last time and didn't have any issues, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep us chugging along here. Build failed. Could not compile libc. Let's check here. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say we're fine. I'm actually going to go ahead with the Ubuntu install. So let's go ahead and do this. Or Docker install, excuse me. All right, why do I like using Docker? Solely because, you know, we have a containerized application. We can easily create, delete, kind of query it as we see fit. It's more personal preference. You can go ahead and follow other steps, but for this case, I'm just going to go ahead with Docker. Hit yes on this. I'm just copying these commands here, and this is from the Docker documentation. Highly recommend going through with this one as far as adding everything. So all I got to do, add the key here. Okay, looks like we're all set there. We'll add the fingerprint, copy, done. Okay, sudo add repo. Just gonna copy this guy, get this guy in. Okay, done there. Done. Now we'll actually get Docker. Yes. Okay, let's make sure we have this all done. We don't care. Okay, here's the test we're going to run after. Sudo docker run hello world. So we'll give this a second. We'll switch back over to the Stacks documentation. We'll run the Stacks Docker image, verify our logs. Boom, we have our node up and running, and we've been about, say, 15 minutes here. Okay. Great. Now let's do a verification test. So we don't have the image. What Docker's doing right now, going to the Docker registry, pulling that down, and hello world from Docker. We can also check with the Docker PS. Oh, sudo. Let's just escalate our privileges. Let's do Docker PS. Great. Docker images. Wonderful. So we have that hello world one we called out recently. Now we can switch back to our Stacks documentation because we have Docker running. So let's go down to the optional running with Docker. So this is it. This is why I like Docker. All I'm going to do is copy and paste this command. Docker is going to pull it down, and I'll be able to verify the logs. So here we go. Unable to find the image, like I said, so it's going to pull it down from the Docker hub. Download complete, extracting. Okay, we're on the latest. We'll give it a moment here. All right, so all we're left here is a hash, but we're going to want to check is Docker PS. So then we can do Docker logs -f for follow, stacks follower. So it looks like everything's coming back up. And that's it, everyone. With this one, we're going to sync everything, and we have our Stacks node up and running. Thanks for watching.